You're watching Talking Points, a focus on the political scene in Lubbock and across the South Plains.
Welcome back. Here's a look at some of the political headlines of the past week. Lubbock County Constable C.J. Peterson has filed a legal action to try and keep his job. Lubbock County Republican Party Chairman Steve Evans had filed suit to have Patterson removed from office after Peterson's May drunk driving arrest. But Peterson says his constitutional rights are being violated because if he speaks up in defense of himself in the lawsuit, it could be used against him in the ongoing criminal case. And a lot of talk about this billboard on I-40 west of Amarillo, a not-so-subtle suggestion for liberals to just keep on driving until they leave the great state of Texas. But it was taken down Wednesday after the anonymous client said he didn't realize it would cause so much controversy. State convention season is wrapped up, and a couple of things of note to come out of last week's Republican convention. In their party planks, conservatives softened their stance on homosexuality, no longer saying it's a chosen behavior. And they're now also supporting the decriminalization of marijuana in some instances. KMAC's Steffi Lee rejoins us with that.
We're looking forward to being able to count Republicans as allies moving forward into the next legislative session.
The Texas GOP supports changing the law to make it a civil offense for adults caught with an ounce or less of marijuana, with a fine up to $100. Texans for a Responsible Marijuana Policy hopes the legislature will listen.
That criminal record leads to collateral consequences such as hindered access to education, employment, housing.
If they're committing crimes with it, they need to be held accountable.
Aubrey Adams of Colorado volunteers with a group called Texans Against Legalizing Marijuana.
So if somebody's caught with marijuana possession, they're not trafficking it or whatever, I think education and resources are the best procedure to move forward at that point.
She says if the state adopts this change in policy, how it defines marijuana will be important.
If you have high potency marijuana, like 90% THC, that's like very, very dangerous. It's never been studied before, so you need to really think about what you're going to do if somebody has that on them and is smoking it.
Supporters of the change also say decriminalization can't override public safety.
Making sure that we are facilitating justice for victims of real crime and ensuring that we have the resources to do that.
Still, a party platform plank is no guarantee that we'll see action, but both groups will be watching the 2019 session. In Austin, Steffi Lee, KMAC News.
All right, Steffi, thank you. Let's spend 5 good minutes with new Lubbock County Democratic Party Chair John Gibson, who's been hanging out at the state convention in Fort Worth. John, good to see you.
Good to be with you, Brian.
I know you're new on the job, but give me some first impressions of Texas Democratic politics at the state level. You know, how campaigns being run. Give me an overall mood of party members there.
Well, everybody's excited. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of buzz. It's really a happening place. I'm really encouraged to be here. It's really looking good.
You know, let's talk about your background a little bit, how you were able to convince Lubbock County Democrats that you were the person to choose as chairman. Take me through the election that night.
Well, as far as that night goes, I mean, there was a lot of stuff going that led up to that night. But no, I'm originally from Houston. I got my start in politics a long time ago. I'm a political science graduate from the University of Houston, and just happened to do that at the same time that the Bushes were making their political headquarters there in Houston, and so had a lot of opportunities to see things at the ground floor level of how politics works and whatnot, and just kind of grew disenfranchised with Republican politics over the years, and married a muleshoe gal. She convinced me to come out to Texas Tech for law school, and loved Lubbock, loved the people of Lubbock, great schools, great community. We have a great church. We really love Lubbock, and even though I've had opportunities to move elsewhere, we've stayed in Lubbock and made that our home, and so I wanted to get involved politically, and so that's what's happened.
So what was it specifically that got you sort of disenfranchised with the conservative movement and led you more to the Democratic side of things?
Just the nastiness. You know, I mean, I don't want to throw stones too much, but the nastiness, the pettiness, it's just not what I'm about. It's not what I thought politics was about. I thought politics was about helping people. Thought it was about the greatest good for the greatest number of people, and it just seemed to be more about ideological purity than it was about helping people.
Now, being in a heavily conservative part of the state, does Lubbock County, you think, really have a role to play in Texas Democratic political planning? What do we bring to the table at conventions or from a larger scale?
Oh, I definitely think we do. West Texas in general. I tell people often that Texas is a two-party state, but it's a two-party state in the sense that it's east of I-35 and west of I-35. And the problem is right now we've got a lot of politicians that are representing east of I-35 and they're not representing west of I-35. And so I-35 voters need to make their voices heard. You look at, for instance, Medicaid expansion. If we had Medicaid expansion, would that have helped these rural hospitals that are going broke from lack of funds? There's just a whole host of issues that you can go down the road or go down the line on and see that west of I-35 needs to make their voice heard.
Now, give me some personal goals now for party growth in Lubbock County. What are some things you hope to see happen in a year, 2 years, 5 years, things of that nature?
Well, first of all, we've got to get precinct chairs. I've only been in this office for a very short time, just a little over a week, but I've been encouraged by the number of people that I've already had contacting me and saying, hey, I've been in Republican politics. Do you have room for me on the Democratic side? I tell them, sure, look at me. I mean, there's definitely opportunity here on the Democrat side. We're a big tent party. And so the number one thing we need to do right now is we need precinct chairs in every single precinct. I would like to see that done in the very near future, and by near future I mean certainly within my term. And so that's the thing I'm focusing on right now, is getting precinct chairs and getting us to have a bigger voice in the community. We need to be serving the community in community events, community activities. We want to see the Democratic Party take an active role in getting out in the community and letting people know that we're here.
Interesting. Well, let us know how it goes down there, and have a good time. And I know you'll learn some things and meet some people and have fun doing it. He's John Gibson, new Democratic Party chair in Lubbock County. Good to talk to you.
Thanks, Brian. Good to talk to you.
Coming up, normally the passage of a new farm bill would be the big story, but another Washington political fight threatens to cause even more headaches for farmers and our economy. And it's next on Talking Points.